Hi everyone and welcome to the Flying Ovi. This is Sarah and your host. I hope you enjoy this episode. Today I'm not wearing kimono. This is because I've just gotten home from work and I am tired, but I wanted to do this episode while I was waiting for my washing to dry. What I am doing is I do have kimono printed on my shirt. This is something I commissioned a while ago from a friend and I finally got it printed out. So today the topic is kimono magazines. While I don't have an overly large abundance of them, I still think I have a fairly nice collection. Most of these are kimono ideas, how you can maybe look through them and be inspired to style something a bit more interesting. These are the ones that actually got me inspired to start going outside my very basic looks that I was looking at in the early years. The first one I actually got was Kimono, which is Mokona, who is one of the members of Clamp. She wears kimono very regularly, and in here there's her designs of making a couple of kimono and obi, where she painted them and based them on the Clamp designs, which is quite stunning and really interesting to see those sort of ideas and designs that you do see in the Clamp mangas come to life, like the cover obviously, and they're really beautiful. They've also got her drawings in there, which is great. But one of the cool things is Mokono is a collector of a lot of vintage kimono, and she has stylings in here of how you can style them up. They look a bit odd sometimes on the dolls, but she's got ideas for different occasions. She also has an interview. She designed this kimono for this lovely actress, and she's a voice actress, I believe, and she has a CD out. She designed the kimono for her and is one of the most beautiful komons I've seen a young lady wear and design. So I think manga artists should design more kimonos so I can wear them. So it's got all of that in there. I'm flipping the wrong way. It's also got some of her accessories. They're very basic things she's collected. And this is beautiful for ideas, but one of the best things I think she has in there is a kimono diary. So this is different events during one year when she was working on this book that she was wearing them. And they're absolutely stunning. So I really do love this book, and if you're looking at maybe stepping outside of your basic curve of wearing the normal sort of traditional, very traditional style kimono, but it's just not you, this is a really good way to start looking at ideas of how to step out. It's not as extreme as kimono hime or something like that. It's natural and comfortable, and it has just enough sass that you can add into your everyday clothes that you may be a bit nervous about doing with your kimono outfits. So I really do love and recommend this book. The next one isn't actually a kimono magazine. Fruits has been published for years and years and years, and it does cost a little bit outside of Japan. But it is a beautiful photo book. The photos are taken on the streets of Harajuku, and inside sometimes you can find kimono in them, but generally you'll find photos from street parties, from just fashion bloggers, anyone out and about on the streets of Harajuku in Tokyo and Shinjuku through these episodes. Now there's a lot of issues out. I think there's pictures, yeah. So there's a lot of issues out from this magazine. So there's a lot to choose from, and there's different styles. Some of them focus more on punk, some of them on maybe Princess Lolita or Gothic Lolita or something like that. But overall, you get a really good understanding or a bit of a feel to be inspired to maybe step out of the curve a bit. And this is a big thing about these mainstream kimono books, is they are they're not looking at making you really traditional, they're looking about making it a bit more comfortable in everyday life, which is what this blog's about. We want to make this fun for you, we want to make it for you. So looking at something like Fruits is a really, really good way of expanding sort of your ideas about wearing kimono and how best you can maybe jazz them up a bit. So Fruits is a good one too. If you are interested in Fruits but you don't have access to purchasing one though, look up Tokyo Street Fashion. It is a fashion blog set in the same scene as Fruits. I think it might have originally been run by the same people, but please correct me on that, I'm probably wrong. They take a lot of photos around the area and they blog about it. This is where Minori and people like her have actually gotten their start, from having their photos posted on this site, and the fan base has just gone, that's awesome. Anyway, the next one, this created a bit of a stir on the Immortal Geisha forums a while back. When it was first announced, we were all very excited about it, and it was actually during the time when the, the 10th year anniversary for IG was happening. And it's called the new Kimono. So this is originally from the Nanao magazine, I think I pronounced that right, Nanao magazine. So the editors have decided, since it's originally in Japanese, they've realised there is an English fan base, and they decided to translate some of their better articles or their preferred articles, and they've created this beautiful sort of very casual book about wearing kimono. There's some lovely articles in here, and some of the nicest photos I've actually seen in a kimono book. When I go back to Japan, I will be looking for some original Nanao copies. But inside here, they've got things like the mantra of one kimono, 3 obis, and it shows different ways of actually styling it. It's got talking about how to jazz up your zori, what might be comfortable, and they actually have Mum's Kimono Gets a Makeover. Now, I'd like to beg to differ here. Mum's kimono or grandma's kimono in some people's cases are actually pretty awesome, because the new kimono these days can be quite dull. The older kimono they're talking about are these beauties. Now, they're all vintage kimono, and some of us collectors just drew all over those. So there's no problem there. But they talk about how best to style them with maybe newer items and things like that, how to make them sedate, how to jazz them up, that sort of thing. And they also have some articles on wearing summer kimono, choosing yukata, and they do, in fact, have beating the heat tricks. I live in Australia. I think I love this article. So this goes through summer undergarments, haneri from medical gauze of all things, which is very light and you can paint on that easy. Lace tabi, which I actually think is a great thing, because when you sweat and you're walking in zori, that usually ends up in blisters. The obi-ita, like, for example, she's explained how you can cut holes in it. Instead of buying a professional mesh one, just cut holes in it. Making an obi-makura from a sponge. It doesn't look overly professional, but hey, it does the job. So things like that, which is absolutely excellent when you work and live in a hot climate like Australia. Join the club. So yeah, it talks about all of those wonderful things. Then it goes through, there's a little article about a kimono day out in Asakusa. It's also got a basic kimono tutorial, a yukata tutorial, and an otayako tutorial, as well as, I believe, yeah, there's a small tutorial in there about tying an obijime. So this is a really basic book. It's maybe aimed more at the more mature kimono wearer, but it has very beautiful sedate styles that would be perfect for your everyday town life, if you do decide to wear kimono every day. So that's one of the great things about Nanao magazine. While it is not aimed at young teenage girls, it is aimed at people maybe a bit later into their life or in their late 20s, 30s that are quite busy. It has a beautiful sense of elegance, which you can really draw from quite easily and maybe think, I really love that style, maybe I'll buy some things like that. Or it will teach you how to work these more sedate outfits for your maybe more joyous looks. So that is a really cool one. I do suggest looking into the new kimono. It's that thick, and yeah, a very good read. I do enjoy it. Another one, if you are into the Geiko or Maiko scene, is called A Geisha's Journey. Now, while the original memoirs were originally written by Minako Iwazaki, she was a Geiko a number of years back now. She wrote her memoirs after Arthur Golden's train wreck. A Geiko now, called Kimono, was asked if they would be able to do a photo book in collaboration with a photographer named Naoyuki Ogino. And some of the photos in here are just glorious, and it really is a photo book. This is her on the front. Now, Kimono did retire now I think it was late last year, and she's become the Okasan of Urukio, which I congratulate her for. That is incredible. And she's doing very well at the job, I believe, at the moment. But this is her diary almost. Her photo book from her Shikomi states to Misedashi to Erikai. And it stops long before she retired. And the photos in here are just glorious. It's a decent sized book and it is a little bit expensive. But if you are interested in this sort of thing, I would recommend it extremely because it really gives you a sense of all these things. It doesn't look like a dated book like a lot of them might do because of the colorations and tonations of a lot of the architecture in Japan can create older looking photos. They manage to avoid that, and it really captures the scene in which they are in. So, A Geisha's Journey, My Life as a Kyoto Apprentice by Kimono and Naoyuki Ogino is a really nice one as a coffee table book, or just one you can sit in bed and read and enjoy the beauty of the world that is the flower world. Finally, one that you've all heard of, I'm sure, is Kimono Hime. I have 2 issues because they are a bastard to find in Australia and they're not overly cheap. In fact, I think they're a bastard to find in Japan as well. Now, these were fairly common a few years back. They were publishing regularly, but nowadays, unfortunately, they do not post Kimono Hime as much as we'd like. The most recent one was number 11, which has beautiful yukata styling on the front. My first one, obviously, was this one, which is a lovely winter outfit, and you'll wonder, one of the episodes coming up will be talking about styling with scarves and accessories. If you want to know where the ideas for a lot of that have been inspired by, it's this and this. And a bit of Vogue too, don't ever bypass Vogue, some of the stuff in there. Some of the stuff in there also. So in Kimono Hime, you always have accessories, portrait stylings, full body stylings, and layouts. You've also got blogs in here, which are quite nice, and most of these are brands you guys will already know. People like Mama Chio, Shoko, who else we got? Mason des Perez, I think I pronounced that right, I don't speak French. Choco Rumirok, Fujiko, people like that. So there's a lot of designers that are very famous in the kimono world that are published in Kimono Hime, and the stylings are quite fantastic and really get your creative juices going when you're looking at them, or you just sit there and think, that's too fun to that. So it'll either tell you what you really like, what you would like to try, or what you seriously don't like. So that's book 10, which I found to be quite good, but I would suggest, if you can get it personally, I would look at getting Kimono Hime 11. Now the reason for this is it has something that a lot of the other Kimono Hime don't, and it is some obi tutorials. I don't know how many of them have them, but in this one they invited a special guest, a blogger and kimono designer by the name of Choco. Choco has some of the most stunning ensembles on her blog I have yet seen. They're very easy to do, and they're often re-coordinated, and she does focus a lot on accessories. And she uses hanhaba orbis a lot, which means that she has a lot of ways to tie them in really cute and young ways. And she doesn't just wear them with yukata, which is even nicer, because hanhaba orbis can be quite handy for wearing with komon or dressing up other outfits and adding other things in there. So if you can, I'd suggest get at least Kimono Hime 11 to enjoy.